Hello, good afternoon, and the warmest of welcomes indeed to today's iOB business webinar. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on here. My name is Ben, and I'm the resident business coach here at iOB Business, and I will be the one talking you through today's webinar. Now, what's important to note is if you do have any questions throughout today's webinar, you're more than welcome to ask them. We're going to take a brief pause in between each of the three core subjects that we're going to speak through today to give you a chance to jot down any notes and indeed fire away with any questions that you might have as well. So if you're a newcomer to the webinar, hopefully that helps. And if you've been with us before, you'll be more than familiar with how these iOB business webinars work. Okay, so as we're approaching the 2 o'clock mark, let's go ahead and switch off the video. What we're going to do now is pull up the presentation on screen for you there. Okay, so you should be able to hear my voice okay, and you should be able to see the screen okay, but you should no longer be able to see me. So if you could just let me know right before we get kicked off at today's session, as we're approaching the 2 o'clock mark, and just let me know if you can hear my voice okay, and if you can see the presentation up on screen there for you okay. It's a screen that says how to use social media like an expert, and that is a topic of today's conversation. Okay, so once I have the thumbs up from all you lovely people, then I'll know that we are ready to go. Okay, number one, smiley face, yes, whatever you like in the chat box. That will let me know. Okay, perfect. All right, looks like we're ready to rock then. So without further ado, let's get started on today's webinar session. How to use social media like an expert is such an important part of running a modern business, is knowing how to use social media like a total expert. And we're going to talk through that, okay? Now, don't worry if you're not familiar with social media. Don't worry if you're just about getting started with it. Don't worry if it's something that you're playing around with a little bit, okay? We're going to talk through exactly how you can really utilize it today to get the most out of your social media time. Okay, so your presenter today is myself. My name is Ben, and I'm a business coach. I specialize in working with businesses, just like many of you on here, as well as many other wonderful businesses, to help them achieve stability and growth. It's my passion, it's my love, it's what I get to do every single day. Okay, so today's session discussion points: leave no stone unturned. Okay, now this is something that we're going to talk about as we're going through the social media discussion, how you can make sure that you're getting the absolute most out of your social media use. Number two, post content like your business literally depends on it. Okay, too many of us have these social media channels. We don't actually make use of them. So we're going to talk through how you can make the most out of your social media posting. And finally, keep your audience red hot. Okay, I love to use this phrase because it is so accurate when it comes to online marketing and online advertising. The more our customers see us, the more likely they are to do business with us. Okay, now leave no stone unturned. Let's get started then speaking about this topic today. So what you've got to do is seek to check every single box when it comes to social media. Okay, what we're looking at is a variety of social media channels that can be used for your business. Okay, now to name a few, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got LinkedIn. Okay, now Facebook is something that you'll be familiar with. It's been around for a long time. It's something that many of us use. Okay, now Facebook is a very productive platform in lots of different ways. What we can use Facebook for is posting, organic posting. We can use paid advertising. We can use Facebook business pages. We can use business-oriented groups. We can start Facebook groups and communities on Facebook. We can bring people in there. We can talk to them, okay? So you've got to check every box when it comes to social media. We've got to make sure that we're using it to its absolute maximum ability, because it's a very powerful tool. And unfortunately, I suppose in many ways it's talked about so much that it actually becomes overlooked. And we say, well, that's a very common way of marketing. Everybody does that. So maybe we should try and do something else. Maybe we should try and take another avenue to get ourselves away from the crowd a little bit. Okay. Now, there's a reason that types of marketing become common. There's a reason that types of marketing become used so often. If they were not effective, they would not be used. Okay. So you've got to check every box. Now, other platforms that we mentioned, we've got Twitter. Okay, Twitter is a very short, sharp way of letting people know what you're thinking, what you're doing. It's very short, sharp tweets. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Okay, it's a conversation starter. And finally, the third one that we discussed, and this is not all of the social media platforms, this is just some of them, we have LinkedIn. Okay, now many of us might not think of LinkedIn as social media because it's a very business-oriented platform. It's there for jobs, it's there for professionals, it's there for businesses. It's there to talk about business and what's going on in the business world. Okay, but this is a reason that it's an extraordinarily effective type of social media for you to use for your business. Okay, because I would go as far as to say almost everybody on there is a professional in some category, some shape, some way, some form. Okay. What we have there is a social media platform full of professionals in different industries, most of which are looking to help each other in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Now, to build a great presence on social media, it takes time and effort. It's not a case of simply creating a page and letting it work. Okay, social media is only going to be as effective as you are. And this is something that we must run home on today's webinar session, because it's so common for us to have a burst or a moment of inspiration, and we go online, I'm going to get so many likes, I'm going to get loads of comments, loads of engagement, loads of people are going to want to work with me because I'm setting up this Facebook business page. Okay, big X. It's not going to happen unless we do something with it. Okay, so to build a great presence on social media, it takes time and it takes effort. We have to be consistently there. We have to be posting online all of the time. We have to be making sure that our viewers and our followers, they're seeing us. Okay, now when it comes to making sure that we get lots of eyes on our post, there's not always necessarily an easy way to control this. There's no guarantee that 100% of the people that follow you are going to see your post. But what we can do is by posting consistently, if somebody doesn't see post A, B, or C, they might see post D. Okay, the person that doesn't see post D is going to see post A and B. All right. So what we've got to make sure of is that we're posting all the time to make sure that we're reaching the maximum possible audience. Okay. Now, in some ways, there might also be a possibility for us to reach more people than simply our followers. Maybe, things get shared or commented on or tagged or liked. It could then show up in other people's news feeds as well. Okay, so we want to be posting all the time. Now, don't become too concerned with how many people actually follow your page. Just try and make sure that you're doing the best that you absolutely can with the content that you're putting on. Okay, it takes time and it takes effort. It does not happen automatically. It does not happen overnight. It's something that needs to be consistently taken care of. Now, you would say the same thing about a paid advertising campaign. You would say the same thing about a website. Okay, a website, for example, again, it's a common misbelief that just because we have a website and it's online that people are going to visit it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We have to do work to get people to that website. We have to advertise it on other channels. We have to sometimes run paid ads towards it. We have to look at search engine optimization. We have to be writing blogs. We have to be posting content on the website. Okay, so it's not a case of simply creating a page and letting it work. Now, using Facebook as an example, you can craft a business-oriented group to discuss the dynamics of marketing. Okay, so one of the very, very good ways that you can use Facebook is by creating a group, like community within a group, and allowing yourself this sort of private environment, although it doesn't actually have to be private. If you want to, you can let other people see what's going on within the group that aren't actually in the group yet. Okay, but using Facebook as our example here, if this is something that you would like to do, you can craft this business-oriented group and you can discuss then the dynamics of marketing. You can let people in, let people out. You can make sure that the group is filled with people that you would actually want to speak to and you believe would find the content that you're going to post valuable. Okay, can they learn something from this group? Can you engage people in conversation? It's almost like a room, but it's online and it's filled with very specific people that you have let in for one reason or another. Okay, so using Facebook as this example is a great way to talk about the power of social media and how these groups can be utilized for business benefit from almost everyone in that group. Okay, we can all learn, potential partnerships, collaborations can come from it as well. So what you want to do is find the next best thing and get to it first. Okay, don't wait for others to capitalize before you get involved. Now, these early newcomers to different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, okay, these people that got there really, really early, not only did they learn an awful lot about the platform before anybody else really knew about it, they also gave themselves the best possible start. They started posting on that platform all the time. Now, it's not to say that every new social media platform is going to be a Facebook, okay, but these people didn't know that it was going to be the Facebook that it is today when they first started working with it either. Okay, so sometimes we have to make sure that we spend a little bit of effort and a little bit of time trying to find the next best thing and how we can get to it first. Okay, how can we start utilizing this platform before it becomes a little bit saturated or a little bit sort of too commonly used? Okay, because something being commonly used, as we discussed, is a very, very good thing. It means that it works, it means that it provides benefit. But if, like we said, if literally everyone is doing it, it can also, if we're not careful, become easy to get lost amongst the crowd. Okay, so That brings us to the end of topic number one. What I'm going to do now is give you a brief moment to go ahead and jot down any notes, and please do feel free to ask away with any questions that you might want to ask as well. And I'll be more than happy to answer them for you during the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar, which is going to run for a few minutes when we're finished with the initial presentation. Okay, so I'll be right back with you in just a moment's time. All right, perfect. So let's move ourselves on to topic number two then for today. Thank you for the question. I'll get that for you in the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. So next we have post content like your business literally depends on it, okay? Because in many ways, it absolutely does. So the best way to flatline your social media presence is to post infrequently, if at all, okay? So if hypothetically you want to open up a business page on Facebook and never be seen again, a great way to do that is to just not post, okay? Now, we kind of run with this funny controversy to begin with because it's absolutely true, okay? Of course, none of us want to flatline our business presence, but a fantastic way of allowing that to happen is if we just decide not to post, or not even decide not to post, we forget, we don't pay attention to it, we don't care too much. Okay, now what I want you to do is every time you have a moment of inspiration, write it down. Write down an idea that you have for a video or a content piece or a picture that you want to post on one of these social media channels. Just jot it down, store it, okay? Because every week we're going to be going through trying to plan out what social media we can use, what platforms we can use, what content we can use, and make sure that we're putting it out there across our channels, okay? Now, if we sort of post infrequently, like this week we'll post once, a couple of weeks' time we'll post a couple of times, and then maybe at the end of the month we'll do one more post. The platforms don't really love that. They don't love the fact that you're posting infrequently. They might not show your stuff to that many people because they think, well, the chances of them posting again are pretty slim. We don't think there's much benefit in showing many people what these people have to say because they're just going to disappear after they post this video or content piece or whatever it is, okay? So we don't want our social media to flatline, okay? We don't want our presence to flatline on social media. So make sure that we are posting frequently. We are posting all the time, okay? Now, a fantastic way of doing this, and we'll continue to discuss elements of this throughout the rest of today's webinar. But what we're going to look at doing is each week, on whatever day you choose, it doesn't matter, try and plan out a 7-day posting content calendar, okay? Content posting calendar or whatever you want to call it, and allow that stuff to run out through the rest of the week, okay? So you spend maybe an hour, hour and a half at the start of every week, say on a Sunday night, you post your content that you plan the content that you're going to post for the week ahead. And then you've got posts going out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, okay? Now, what this does is it helps you remain consistent. It helps you with your consistency. It helps have your audience continually see who you are, what you're doing, while you're doing it, whatever it is that you want to share with them. It also massively reduces the chance of your social media flatlining because you're posting all the time. Now, what you'll probably be able to familiarize yourself with just now is somebody who pops up on your social media all the time. Think about the first person or business that comes to mind when you think about Facebook, okay? Who and what do you see all the time? What are they doing? And it's probably something different every time they post. It's a different piece of content, video, picture, written post, some kind of useful document that they're trying to share, okay? But the best way to let your business social media presence flatline is if you post infrequently or even not at all, okay? So here's some content ideas that we put together for you that you can actually use to make sure that on that Sunday night or on whatever day of the week that you choose, and that night you are posting for the next 7 days consistently, okay? Because you have all of that content lined up in front of you, okay? So top tips are an excellent way to put together content, especially if you're not really sure on ideas that week, okay? So for a digital marketing agency, it could be top tips on how to get your website seen, top 3 tips on how to use Facebook, top 3 tips on writing an article, top 3 tips on blog writing, top 3 tips on letting your local market know that you're there, top 3 tips for guerrilla marketing, top 3 tips for organic marketing, okay? Top tips. There's so much content that you can put into these things. Now, you saw I just came up with maybe 6, 7, and it wasn't counting, 6 or 7 ideas maybe on how you can use this, okay? There are so many different ways in which you can use this top tips content piece to make sure that you're putting out content for your audience. So here are some more ideas. Okay, we have how-to guides. Now, how to get the most out of your social media, how to win over a new client, how to win over a client that's on the fence, how to, make really, really colorful, eye attention grabbing content, how to make really, really cool graphics, how to design a new logo for your business, how to, get merchandise for your business, how to make yourself seen in local markets, how to attend the next local business event that's happening, okay, how to get somewhere the quickest. All right, it's just ideas around your business that could be useful for everyone, but it don't necessarily always have to be business related. Okay, how to get from A to B the quickest, how to avoid traffic routes on the way to your next business conference. Okay, it's a very, very cool way of mixing it up and making sure that you're talking about something else, something that's interesting, because all the time, as we say, there are so many saturated markets where we see how to build a business, with social media, or how to make the most out of your Facebook presence. Okay, these are pretty saturated things. So we try and think about ways that we can avoid kind of controversial topics like politics or anything like that. But you can think about my thoughts on this new Facebook advertising platform, or my new thoughts on the new way of doing X, Y, Z. Okay, put your thoughts out there on something that you feel would engage people in conversation, something that people might want to say something on. Okay, what we want to do with these types of posts is encourage others to start speaking. Now, nobody wants to be the first, okay? Nobody wants to be the first comment on there. So you might not always get a lot of conversation, but if you do manage to pick up one of these posts with a decent amount of conversation going on, others might be more comfortable to jump on and comment as well. If there's already been maybe 5 or 6 comments on there, they'll think, okay, well, I'm not going to stand out from the crowd too much. I can put my thoughts in on this, XYZ topic. So what do you think about, again, it's an open-ended question, okay? What do you think about the way that Facebook are choosing to do this? What do you think about Meta? What do you think about WhatsApp? What do you think about using this platform to market for this reason? What do you think about me attending the next local business market? What do you think about me attending this business conference? Have any of you been? Did you see value? Did you see benefit? What do you guys think about online networking groups? Okay, conversation starters. Have you ever tried? Okay, so you can do this from one of two angles. Have you ever tried XYZ thing that I just did? Or have you ever tried XYZ thing that I'm thinking about doing? Okay, so you're looking for advice, you're looking for opinions, but most of all, you're looking to start conversation around something that you're thinking about. So open-ended posts, they lead to engagement, okay? Try to make less statements and ask more questions. Now, a few more that you can chuck in there. You can do something, personally if you want. If you're comfortable posting that, say if you're having a fun family activity, you want to post and talk about that, or something that you've achieved in your personal life, and you say, I got here because of my business. I drive this car because of my business. We bought this house because my business did X, Y, Z. Okay, but if you can keep it to mostly open-ended posts and open-ended questions, they can lead more to engagement. Okay, it's just like being in person in many ways. If I say to you, my car is red, then I don't really know what you're going to say. You're going to say cool, or okay, or no problem, or thanks for letting me know. But if I say to you, what's your favorite color of car? They could say green, blue, purple, yellow. Okay, it's an open-ended question. We don't want to make statements so much as we want to be asking questions. Okay, so that brings to the end of topic number 2 now. Once again, please do feel free to ask away with any questions during this brief pause that we're about to take, and I'll get them for you at the end during the Q&A session. And I'll be right back with you in just a moment's time. All right, fantastic. So moving on to the third and final topic of today's conversation, keep your audience red hot, okay? Now, the more content that you generate, the less it looks like you're only in it for sales, okay? Now, perspective from your audience is very, very important here, and it's very much relating to how much they engage, okay? Now, by engaging, what I mean is liking or commenting or sharing your posts. Now, if you're generating a whole load of content all of the time, talking about different things, you're doing lifestyle posts, or you're sharing content, you're sharing tips, you're sharing advice, you're sharing open-ended questions because you want responses from them, it doesn't always look like your only goal is to get sales. Another excellent way of flatlining your presence on social media is by constantly saying, buy this now, limited time offer, sign up for this, sign up for that. Okay. It's very, very easy to make it look as though we are using our content on social media only to generate sales. Now, if you do this for one reason or another, we as consumers don't love this idea. Okay. We don't always want to be being sold to. We don't always want to be made to feel like the only reason that they're posting is because they want us to buy something. We want to feel like these are real people, okay? And it's the same goes on the other side. You want to feel like you're a person who's posting and not coming at it always from a business angle and only for that reason. So the more content that you generate, the less, excuse me, the less it looks like you're only in it for sales, which is very, very important, okay? So you need to always be engaging. Every comment, every response, every like, it has an effect on your algorithm and the rapport that you have with your community. The algorithm exists in social media to essentially establish how many people see your post, how relevant you are, okay, and to which audience you're relevant to. These algorithms are very, very intelligent, and they want to promote the people who are likely to cause the biggest amount of conversation, the biggest amount of engagement, the biggest amount of fulfillment and enjoyment across social media platforms. If you think about it, if you were the owner of a social media platform, would you want to promote a sales related post that's going to get no likes, no comments, no engagement to your audience? Probably not. If you own that social media platform, what you would want to promote is somebody who was always starting conversation, was always creating a buzz around themselves, was always getting new followers, was always having loads of comments, loads of attention. Okay. Now, those that run these social media platforms are very, very likely thinking in this way. We've got to think about how it comes from the top, as it were. What do these people who run and own these companies, these platforms, what do they want to see happening on that platform? They don't want posts going out getting no likes, no comments, no engagement. Okay. Why would they? It doesn't provide any benefit or value. It doesn't make them look very good as a platform. So we've always got to engage with every comment, every response, every like. And remember that this has an effect on our algorithm, the way that it works for us. Okay. Now, the additional benefit to this is that the rapport that you have with your community online is, well, if you ignore comments or you don't respond to anything and you kind of don't really appreciate anybody engaging with you in any way, then people might just stop, because if they're commenting on your post, they're not getting a response. So they'll think, well, the last time I did that, they ignored me. So why would I bother doing it again? Okay. Now, over time, people begin to see the priority number one for you is to provide value. Okay. If you can get yourself recognized as a value giver first, okay, somebody who wants to put out content, top tips, how-to guides, share all of this valuable stuff for them, and you'll pretty quickly find that they say, well, actually, I know they do sell something and I know that they are a business, but really, I think they just enjoy being on here. They enjoy talking, they enjoy sharing content, they enjoy sharing value. Now, from firsthand experience within Facebook groups, this is very much something that I can happily say is absolutely possible. Okay. It's something that I have done myself. Okay. You become recognized as somebody who is just excited to give value, excited to share content, excited to speak with the people on there. Okay. Because you want to genuinely help other people. If this is your goal, what goes around comes around, in the sense that if you're giving out value all the time, there's a high chance that you'll also hopefully be able to turn that into some kind of tangible income. Now, using this theory, you're then able to ask if members would like audits, calls, free sessions, etc., etc., etc. Okay. If you have been giving solid value for 2 months, okay, you're clearly skilled. You're showing people actually you are an expert, and they're looking at you thinking, wow, this person really, really knows what they're talking about. Okay. And you say, look, I don't really do this very often. And after a couple of months of giving loads of valuable content, you then say, well, I'm going to put out 30-minute calls, but I'm only doing 5 of them because I'm very, very busy. I've got so much other stuff to be getting on with. I've got other clients to look after. But I really love helping you guys, and I would really love to speak with you. I'm going to limit the calls to 30 minutes. It's not going to cost you anything. Just grab one if you want. If not, no worries. Okay. It's very, very hands-off, sort of stand back sales methods. Okay. Now, if somebody thinks that they're being given something that is truly valuable and there's nothing going to be, might be a possible chance in there as well that they want to purchase from you. And this really is the way that we can use social media to make money. We don't ever want to come at it initially from a sales angle, but we do want to be aware that if we do the right things at the right time with the right people, that they could potentially turn into sales as well. Okay, so to recap on today's session, well, actually what we'll do first is we'll give you another brief moment to jot down any notes. I'll leave that slide up there for you for just a minute, and I'll keep talking to you. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the recap through today's session, and then we're going to dive onto the Q&A. So I've got 2 questions in from you just now. If you let me know if you have any more, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Okay, so hopefully you've had a good amount of time with that slide. Now we can move on to the recap. So number 1, check every box. Okay, make sure that you don't leave anything that could be there potentially to be used and you're ignoring it or you're not making use of it. Number 2, your business depends on you. Okay, you have to be the one growing and utilizing these social media platforms. And number 3, generate. Okay, make sure you're putting content out there all the time. Keeping your audience red hot is not an easy thing to do, but it is something that is absolutely possible. Okay, so as always, a massive thank you to everyone who attended today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. If you'd like to talk to a member of our team, you're more than welcome to head over to iob-business.com/talk-to-us. On there, you can go ahead and book a call at a time that suits you. When you do so, you'll see a calendar just like this, and you can then go ahead and book a call that suits you the best. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up the questions that I have from you today. Okay. So what have we got? Question number 1. I've never been good with social media, right? Love it. Very, very direct. Okay, so nor was anybody at first. Okay, nobody was an expert in social media marketing when it first came around. Okay, or when they're first using it for the very, very, very first time. It's something that we have to make sure that we give time and attention to. We practice it so much that we do eventually become comfortable and familiar with it. If you think about the first time that you did anything, were you an expert right from the start? Probably not. Okay, awesome question. Hope that helps, but just please give it time. Okay. Next question. People rarely interact with my personal profile. Cool. Okay, so what we can do here is we can look at developing an online personality, okay, so that your audience slowly learns what to expect. Then you can throw in the odd surprise to mix up, on the content of the platform. But typically what we want to do is post so much that people start to hear our tone of voice, our way of speaking, what we're about, the type of content that we like to produce, and really a reason to follow us. If we're just a random person that they've never met or engaged with before, they might not be as inclined to actually do anything with our content, do anything with our social media. But if we pick up this personality and we say, oh, actually, yes, that's what Ben does, or that's what they talk about, I am going to follow that person. Okay, every account that you've ever followed, you've probably done so for a reason that you thought, well, actually, I like what they post. And potentially even you've looked at their other content and you thought, I don't like that as much. I actually would prefer that they keep talking about XYZ topic. Okay, so there's a personality that comes with this, and there's a personality that you must also look to build. But always think about these types of things from a content creator's perspective, somebody that's very, very big online and very popular. And also the people that run these social media platforms, what type of thing do you think they would want to be seen on their platform as well? Okay, so awesome question once again. Thank you for asking. Any other questions that we have from today's session? No. Okay, perfect. Well, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you the very best for the rest of the week. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next iOB Business webinar. Take care, and bye for now.